Today is a good day. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Darkwater Boxset. Today we're going to be painting up these 6 minis and we're going to jump straight into it. First up we have Belga the Cystwitch. First up I put a coat of a pale skin tone followed by a quick red wash in all the recesses. I then went over those with a dark purple and proceeded to blend that purple up into the original pale flesh tone. And after a few highlights, we have the finished flesh tone. Personally, I'm very happy with how the skin tone turned out. I think it looked very maggots-like. Next up, I just put a base coat of brown all over the leather. And after a quick white airbrush to get the volumes of light, I proceeded to go over that with a light green to form some pretty cool OSL from the cauldron. Next up it was just a case of highlighting the leather. And with that done, we're already left with a pretty cool result. Then with the simple addition of some dirty down verdigris paint on all the copper sections, we're on to the staff. Quick base coat of brown, followed by some white to paint the orbs. Then with the last touch of a vibrant green and the staff is done. Next up is Gelgus Pust. I started this guy with a base coat of the green I was going to use for the armour. I then proceeded to recess shade all of the panels with a watered down dark green contrast paint. Then it was just a case of building up those scratchy armour worn highlights all across the mini, slowly getting lighter and lighter until I reached the desired highlight level. I did that same recess shading all over the skin with a dark watered down purple. Before building up through a red tone and a pink tone up to a bright pink on all the skin areas. Next up is the carapace, and I really wanted to replicate real life iridescence here, so here's my reference photo, and we're going to start with a dark blue and then a dark green on top, followed by some light green highlights, then just painting the tips with a light orange, almost yellow, to form that peak of the light. I really wanted the wings to stand out, so I started with a dark blue and then decided to build up gradual layers of glazing up into a really light blue, almost turquoise colour. I added the same dirty down verdigris to all the copper parts. And then the dirty down rust to all the iron parts. And I think he's pretty much done. Next up we have the Cankerborn. Now I'm going to do the twins of Nurgle together. I started these boys off with a quick airbrush of a couple earth tones, followed by a kind of under shadow painting of a dark red, which I actually ended up just spraying over pretty much most of the models. I wanted to do something a little bit extra for the bases, so I decided to do a water effect. So I pre-painted the bases, and then using AK still water mixed with some blue contrast paint, I decided to make these. And I think they look really cool. Next up it was just a thing of painting all the bones. And then the clothing, which to me looks like seaweed, so I have painted it as such with dark green base coat followed by a few lighter highlights. I wanted these guys to have a couple glowing sections as per the theme of most of these models. And there we go. I gave the stone section a glow, and then I wanted their eyes to glow as well. And with a couple last additions, they're pretty much ready. Next up is Inara Sion. Started her off with a base of bone colour, followed by some scratchy white highlights to build texture and volume onto the dress. Now I had an SD card error, so I lost a lot of footage, but I pretty much just did a quick non-metallic gold on the sword and handle, and I do this by base coating brown, then doing a layer of ochre followed by a layer of orange. Followed by an orange ochre mix, followed by the final highlight of almost a white yellow colour. And with only a little bit of basing left to do, she was done. Now it's on to the dwarf, Drolf Ironhead. I gave him a quick coat of a dark blue contrast paint all over the cape and any sections that were blue. Then I proceeded to do a few layers of scratchy highlights, building up that fabric textured look. Next I did a very dark red base coat across all of the trim, with progressive highlights up to a pure red. I did my usual leather method of dark brown followed by Agrax wash, followed by highlights at all of the bend points to create those natural looking leather creases. I gave his weapons a quick non-metallic gold, as well as making the runes on the weapons and his eyes glow. Now's the time to sit back and watch the grand reveal. And there we are, that's 6 more minis from the Darkwater box set down. Now I have some really interesting stuff coming up, and I'm starting an old world army. I was actually building the mini in the background of today's video, so if you find that and tell me what army I'm building, then props to you. Anyway, thanks for watching, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.